I think this is a game where if you're the Eagles, you get off to a fast start, and if you keep up what you've been doing in the first half, especially those second quarters, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to blow them out, but you could blow them out by the third, fourth quarter. Good morning, NFC East fan. Once again, my name is Jeff Kerr. Tone DeShields, my producer, my quarterback with the bow here. We're going to do a little experiment this week. We're going to have Tone on from 7 to 7:20 every day. Just wanted to let you guys know that because Tone is healthy conversation, good conversation. That's what we're about here on Good Morning NFC East. Tone, I got to start with you on this. I feel like we should talk about the Eagles first, and we're going to, but the Giants are banged up, really banged up at quarterback, at wide receiver, and there's some floating around here, and I thought this was very interesting about Odell Beckham. Was not in the Giants building, but he's been hanging out with Giants players. Just from your perspective, what do you make of this?
That story in particular, I don't know. I'm not going to make much of it. Look, the way I see it, Odell Beckham is at a point in his career where he's not looking to go through a rebuild. He's coming off of, I think it was an ACL tear or an Achilles injury. Whatever injury it was, he's coming off of a lengthy injury, and he's not in a position to have to be the guy. He's not in that point in his career where he is trying to be the number one guy. He wants to go into a situation that's essentially ready-made. And look, this is all speculation. This is just my observation, right? This is not a report or breaking news or anything, but just based off my observations and the way things look, I don't see a guy like him at this point in his career trying to go to a rebuilding situation. He wants to fit into a ready-made situation. Maybe the Eagles, right? Maybe a team like the Bills or maybe the Buccaneers, right? They're a little thin at wide receiver because of health issues, but he's looking for a situation that's a bit more ready-made. He's trying to compete, kind of like what he did with the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Rams, see, this is what gets me. The Rams looked terrible last night against the 49ers. I don't know how much of the game you caught. Absolutely terrible.
It's funny, Jeff. I tweeted really quickly. I said, I don't know. I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer in these Rams. My exact tweet was, the Rams are cooked, and I don't believe in them at all.
It's funny, too, because I think Dallas could give them a game this week after what I saw. But that might be a good thing if from an Eagles perspective, because they might play a lot better against the Cowboys than they did against the 49ers. But there's 4 teams in the NFC West right now at 2-2. The Rams are one of them. And the Rams, like the Cardinals have their issues. The 49ers have their issues. But the 49ers just took the Rams to the woodshed. The Seahawks, it's crazy. I know the Seahawks only beat the Falcons and the Lions. But, they lost the Falcons. So the Seahawks have their problems too. It's a wide open division. But overall, the Rams should be the best team. Something's off, Tone. It might be Odell. They just don't. Matthew Stafford looks off. They can't run the football. Their defense is having trouble getting off the field. They might need Odell. This is why this brings me back to my Giants thing. From what I'm hearing, Odell's not going to be ready till November, right? So I don't know how we would help the Giants stay this week when you're down Kenny Golladay, when you're down these receivers. But this is why I wanted to bring up the Giants so quickly. Davis Webb might be their quarterback Sunday.
Yeah, Daniel Jones is dealing with an ankle injury, right? Have they actually defined or diagnosed what it is?
Yeah, so it is an ankle injury. He's pretty much day-to-day according to Brian Dable. So, but it doesn't look like with them traveling to London. I would say right now, if I was honest, it's probably 60-40 he does play. But Tyrod Taylor is going to play. He has a concussion. And Dable pretty much said, look, we take concussions very seriously here. I think Tyrod's out no matter what.
Better.
Yeah, exactly. You better. But yeah, so to me, Tyrod's out. Davis Webb's on the practice squad. So you're probably bringing him up anyway. You're probably going to have to find a quarterback. And look, Saquon Barkley played Wildcat on Sunday. He took more than one legitimate snap when Jones was pretty much a decoy on Sunday. So that ankle injury is bad. I mean, when you got the Packers and Ravens coming up, Tone, that is not good. I don't care who you
They're
are.
cooked. Jeff, they're cooked. They're cooked. It's not a question. Look at this. It's so funny, right? I'm so glad you brought up the Giants today because last night I was getting some notes down. I was laying in the bed. It was about midnight. It takes me a while to get down. It takes me a while to lay my head down to sleep, right? So I'm getting some notes down for the show. And, I was just thinking to myself, what's it going to take for the Philadelphia Eagles to be able to secure this division? What's it going to take? What's the road right now in the next 4 games? So the Philadelphia Eagles, they're at the Cardinals, then they're home against the Cowboys, home against the Steelers. Then they go to Houston to play the Texans. I think that schedule is not that bad. Also, they have a bye sprinkled in there. Then the Cowboys at the Rams, at the Eagles, tough stretch if you ask me. Then they're home against the Lions, and then they're home against the Bears, and then the Giants at the Packers, home against the Ravens, at the Jaguars, at the Seahawks. I'll be honest with you, they can lose all 4 of those games.
The next 4, you mean?
Yes, the next 4. Yeah. Yes, they can lose the next 4 of those games. At Packers, home against Ravens, at Jaguars, at Seahawks. That's the Giants' next 4 games right now. That's the next 4-game sleep.
And I'll tell you what, the Lions are number 1 in the NFL in offense with 35 points per game. So the Eagles gave up what the Lions average. Yeah, that win over the Lions does not look bad. I know the Lions are 1-3, but that's because their defense can't stop a lick. I think we should be more upset the Eagles didn't score more than 31 offensive points against the Lions with what Seattle did to them. But you know what, Tone? 1-3 does seem possible for the Cowboys in the next 4. And look, the Cowboys, we're going to find out how good they are on Sunday. But the thing is, I think we're going to find out how good the Rams are. That's the issue here. I don't know how good the Rams are. I think I know that they're a good team, but they haven't shown it yet through 4 games. And again, it's a long season. I understand that. But what I watched last night and what I've been watching with the Rams, they barely beat the Cardinals. They got crushed by the 49ers. They're division teams. All 4 teams in the NFC West are 2-2. As bad as the Cardinals have looked at times this season, they are tied for first place in that division, which is what makes this game scary. Because I'll say this, Tone. I wrote about this in my one thing I learned at each team this week. The Cardinals' defense has been very, very good since they got shellacked by the Raiders in the first half. Very good. So,
the way I see it, right? The Rams are. I know they're the champions, and I want to give respect where respect is due, but they can very well lose to Dallas. Dallas can actually win that game. And you want to speak about the problems that the Rams have, and I know this is the NFC East show, and we're sprinkling in, we're talking about the league as it pertains to the NFC East, right? So,
but I will say this: there is an NFC East team that plays the Rams this week.
Yeah, and the way I see it, the Rams, they can't run the ball. That Allen Robinson signing looks like a dud. Matthew Stafford, that elbow was more serious than what they let on. Let's be honest. Who else? They lost Von Miller. They don't have Odell anymore. They're not as scary. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love Cooper Kupp, and he's one of the top tier wide receivers in his league. But Cooper Kupp doesn't scare me. He doesn't scare me. I know he's going to do his thing, but that offense right now is Cooper Kupp or bust. He's going to get his numbers by default. No one else can do the job.
So I'll add this too, since you're bringing this up. They can't run the ball worth a lick. I don't think they know who their running back is, whether it's Darrell Henderson or Cam Akers. They can't run the ball worth a lick. And their offensive line isn't as good as it was last year. I thought Joe Noteboom would be not significantly, but from what Andrew Whitworth told me, he's better than him. Well, I think he's battling something right now, an injury, and that's Matthew Stafford's blind side. Matthew Stafford's getting hit. So you're right, though. The Von Miller thing is a huge stiff. We praise Howie Roseman for all the moves he made this offseason. That was kind of like Les Snead's trade deadline, getting Von Miller, signing Odell Beckham. Those are the moves that made you a Super Bowl champion. Now the Rams got to fix that, and I just don't know what they can. And this is why I think the Cowboys have more than a shot against them. I don't know who plays, whether it's Cooper Rush or Dak Prescott, but the Cowboys have a really good defense, as we both know. And CeeDee Lamb's coming along. Noah Brown's becoming a threat. Michael Gallup made an impact Sunday. All of a sudden, you got to have some respect for that football team.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. The Cowboys are starting to get healthy again, and they're beginning to get healthy at the right time. At the most difficult portion of their schedule, right? But like you said, the NFC West is locked up 2-2 all across the board, and the Eagles face the Cardinals this week on the road. A game I'm a little nervous about, not because I'm nervous about the Eagles' talent level against them or anything like that. It's just the desert. The Eagles, for some reason, haven't won on the road in the desert in Arizona in a long time, man. I don't know if that trend can be broken because the way this team is built, because of who their leader is. But I'm going to be paying close attention to the way the defense contains Kyler Murray. But the good thing is they have to practice against a guy like that every single day. So they know a thing or two about dealing with a mobile quarterback. What say you?
So I can't even remember the last time the Eagles won in the desert. I can't remember if the Eagles ever won that stadium. I know they lost the NFC Championship game. Mm-hmm. They lost 11, 14. I'm pretty sure they lost. I think that was the lone John Brown touchdown. I know they lost their last meeting there. Maybe you can look that up for me, Tone. But here's the thing. The Cardinals get off to the slowest of starts you'll ever see. You'll be like, how is this team 2-2 when you're watching this game? Because Cliff Kingsbury, for some reason, doesn't get them ready. And Kyler Murray, it's more Kyler Murray freelancing. And they seriously missed DeAndre Hopkins. Now, they got Rondale Moore back, so I think that's going to help them. But A.J. Green's out now. Marquise Brown's a problem. Zach Ertz is a problem. But overall, they just seem so discombobulated at the start of the game. They don't get anything going offensively until they're down double digits. It's a really weird football team that, again, their defense is playing well. Their defense has been keeping them in it. But I think this is a game where if you're the Eagles, you get off to a fast start. And if you keep up what you've been doing in the first half, especially those second quarters, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to blow them out, but you could blow them out by the third, fourth quarter.
Yeah. I don't think this is a game where the Cardinals can afford to fall asleep at the wheel in the first and second quarter. That's where the Eagles have been thriving, especially the second quarter. I think the Eagles lead the league in second quarter scoring. You know what I mean? And the Eagles can't get up on you big. That's the beautiful thing about this Philadelphia Eagles team that we've seen. They can get up on you big and they can hold you down. They can hold you underwater. You'll fight for air, but you can't come up for it because the Eagles keep their foot on your neck. And again, you've seen this Philadelphia Eagles team win in so many different ways. You've seen them go up big on the Lions and then have to fight to keep the lead and go into the 4-minute offense to win the game. You've seen that. You've seen them respond to the blitz. You've seen them respond to. You've seen Jalen Hurts respond to the zone and the man and the. You've seen him respond to the QB spies. He slayed. He slayed the Caldwell demon that was in Jacksonville that was formerly in Tampa Bay. He slayed that dragon, right? That's the guy that put out that infamous quote, he can't read. Jalen Hurts is showing that he can read now. Jalen Hurts is showing that he's patient, he's being decisive. He had a mental lapse with the pick six against the Jacksonville Jaguars, yeah. But it's bad weather. He wanted to take a shot. He learned from it, bounced back. Other than that, he completed 65% of his passes in inclement weather. And then that goes to the point about the whole noodle arm thing, right? A guy thrown in that weather completes 65% of his passes, 64% of his passes. I don't see a noodle arm. So this is going to be a really good game against the Arizona Cardinals. Some people always ask that question, who's the better quarterback, Kyler Murray or Jalen Hurts? And I think at this point, maybe Kyler Murray has more talent. Maybe he's more gifted as a passer, maybe. But I believe, well, actually, no, that's not a maybe. He is. He is a little bit more gifted. He is a little bit more talented. He is a little bit more sparky. But Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, is a better quarterback. Why? Because he knows how to run the offense. Kyler Murray is he's freewheeling back there. You know what I mean? Like you said, and you can't win in the long term like that.
No, see, here's the thing, too. I think right now Jalen Hurts is better than Kyler Murray. And I love Kyler Murray as a football player. I think he's fun to watch. I think he's entertaining. What I'm curious is, I want to see if Vance Joseph plays man defense against Jalen Hurts. and what Jalen Hurts can do with it. Because I think if you go to man coverage against A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, the Eagles offense is going to have a big, big day. Joseph cannot do what he wants in blitzing Jalen Hurts because I think Jalen Hurts will beat you. I don't think last year he could do that all the time, even though he was okay against man. It was a little better than people thought. But I think this year is like, okay, Jalen Hurts has proven the last 2 weeks, I don't need to run the football to beat you. I can run the football to beat you, but I don't need to run the football to beat you. Kyler Murray right now needs to run the football. He needs to make plays with his legs. Now, he doesn't have to get positive yards to do that, as we've seen in the Rams game, in the Raiders game. Kyler Murray's a dangerous friend. You got to get to him. What I would do personally if I was the Eagles, I would have a spy on him. And I think Hassan Regg's that guy.
Actually, I would prefer TJ Edwards. He's just the best instinctually. You know what I mean? Like, it's just he understands angles. Sometimes Hassan Reddick, I don't like when Hassan Reddick is kind of dropped back. I want Hassan Reddick to be rushing. I want him to pin his ears back going forward. I trust TJ Edwards to kind of just watch Kyler Murray just wade in the water and watch when he makes a move, because TJ Edwards is having a hell of a season right now. And I can't wait to listen to you and Clay Harbor talk about this, because we have our man in backstage in the green room right now. We're so grateful to this guy for coming on to the platform, man. Former Eagle, former Jaguar, former NFL player, former NFL tight end. The guy's been doing great work, and we're super excited to have him on. Jeff, before we go to break, any final thoughts about this Eagles-Cardinals matchup?
I mean, I know it's only Tuesday, but look, if the Eagles didn't play in the desert, if they played in, say, Chicago, and I know that's a team that's where they struggle too. Look, Clay's probably laughing right now because he's a big Bears guy. I feel a lot better about that than how I feel about them being in Arizona. They just don't play well out there, which is ironic considering Eagles fans, the way the Eagles are playing, they might be taking two trips to Arizona this year.
Hey, man, hopefully, man, to God be the glory, Lord willing, right? Oh, man, but, so far, this has been a great show. Me and Jeff are going off right now, right? So much to discuss. Monday Night Football was interesting. Now we're entering week 5. It's official. Your Philadelphia Eagles are the only undefeated team. They're 4-0. They're 4-0, but that doesn't mean anything. It takes more than just a good record to get to the Super Bowl. And I can't wait to hear what Clay Harbor has to say about that. So we're going to take our break. We appreciate you guys. This is Good Morning NFC East. He's Jeff Kerr. I'm Tony DeShields II. Keep it locked, you guys.